welcome back to my channel. I'm excited to have you here today. We're doing something sort of fun. We are taking a home tour of our house. So room by room, the full shebang. If you saw my other home tour video, it was more vignettes, details, little small things here and there, but today we're going room by room with commentary. So feel free to ask away in the comments if you have questions about paint colors or resources, anything like that. I'm here to help, so I will be sure to answer those. But anyway, so let's just go take the tour.
I figured I should go ahead and start by introducing you to our pets since they will most likely be in and out of frame. This is Rocky, our hound dog. This is our youngest pet, Tonks. She's cross-eyed, feel free to laugh at her, we do. And then there's Luna. She is our black cat. She's the oldest of the group. And then rounding out the collection is Ginny, our striped tabby cat. We usually enter the house through the side door, which is right off the carport that we have. So you come into the kitchen and the dining room. This space was something I really wanted when we were house hunting. My goal was to get a formal dining room, something that had a wall separating it from the kitchen. And so this house fit the bill to a T. That said, I really love that it's open to the living room. So when we're entertaining, or if I'm hanging out in the living room while John is cooking, for example, I can still sort of chit chat with him and allows for good, easy conversation. I guess if you wanted to label it, this space would be considered our formal living room. We don't have a television in here, so typically we just kind of use this room for listening to music and basically just hanging out. This room is the brightest in the house because of the full floor-to-ceiling bank of windows off the front, so we spend a lot of time in here during the day when we just want to be able to enjoy that natural light. We hang out with the pets on the carpet, we just sit right there on the floor. It has really tall ceilings in this room, so it's really just kind of one of those spaces where we go when we want to sort of reset. It's bright, wide open, and you can even technically pour yourself a drink if it's that kind of day. This antique cabinet is the perfect place for us to store all of our mid-century glasses and John's liquor collection. Moving into our kitchen, this space is probably the one room in our house that we've made the most changes to. We changed out the old Formica countertops for new granite and installed a white subway tile backsplash. You probably noticed the stove. That was another one of those original details to the house, which was built in 1963. It still works perfectly, although I'm a little bit worried about something breaking because I have no idea where we would find replacement parts, but so far so good. Unlike our last house, this kitchen doesn't have a traditional island, but we use the countertop on the opposite side of the room as a place to prep veggies. We have a coffee station over here, just a place for us to keep little things that we love. These shelves are from IKEA, by the way. Moving back into the living room and through this opposite side door, you will find our sunroom, which is sort of a bonus space. The room is not insulated, so we typically spend the most time out here during those off seasons, like in the fall and the spring when it's not sweltering hot or super cold. But when we do hang out here, it's another one of those places that we love to relax and listen to music. We eat dinner out here sometimes. The pets, of course, love this space. They can look out the windows for hours. Now moving back inside the house and down the hall, at the very end of the hall you'll find my office. This space isn't one that I spend a ton of time in, if I'm being honest. I really love the flexibility of being able to work on my laptop, usually in that front formal living room since it's so bright. But it's nice to have this secluded area where I can come just if I want to work quietly by myself. In terms of updates that I made to this room, I repainted the once yellow walls bright white and replaced the dated curtains and also installed a white ceiling fan. A fun fact about this room is that I also sort of share it with the cats. We keep all of the cat food and water in this space. Everything just sits right on top of this dresser that I use for office storage. It's just a great way to keep the dog out of it. Right next to this room is our guest room, and another one of those things that was high on my list when we were house hunting. Our last house did not have space for a guest room, so I was pretty excited that this house had 3 bedrooms. So we have a guest room, an office, and a master bedroom. Speaking of, the master bedroom is right across the hall from our guest room. This is actually the only room in the entire house that I did not repaint bright white when we moved in. We just really liked the existing minty green color on the walls, so we just kept it. Unfortunately, since the original owners were the ones who painted it, I have no idea what the paint color is, and it's one of those questions that I get asked on the blog all the time. I've found a couple colors that are sort of similar to it, but I do not know the actual name of the paint. Since we didn't have to repaint the room though, it was pretty easy. We just moved right in and we haven't had to make many changes since then. It's a pretty large room for the era of the house, so whenever we want to change things up, all we have to really do is rearrange, so it's been a really easy space to love. Right next door is our hall bath. We don't have an ensuite bathroom in our master, so this bathroom serves the entire household, but luckily it's just the right size. And although a lot of people are weirded out by our purple toilet and bathtub, we love them. One thing I have not talked about on the blog is this ceiling. So I recently ripped out the old drop tile ceiling to expose these old fluorescent lights. Next on my to-do list is to call an electrician up and have them come disconnect these lights so that I can finish this room up. I think basically I just need to patch everything, repaint it, and then I can officially call this room done. I can't wait. So speaking of bathrooms, we can move on down to the lower level. This hall bathroom is one that you've seen recently on the blog. I have made a couple of weekend updates to it. We replaced the old Formica countertop with granite, added some new art that I picked up from an antique store here in town. Next on our to-do list, we're going to be renovating the shower. We're going to keep the same footprint, but we're going to replace the plastic door and drywall with glass and install some new tile. On the opposite side of the room, we're actually going to keep this built-in dresser. It was here when we bought the house. We replaced the hardware, but it's great for storing linens. Right past the hall bathroom and down a couple of stairs, you'll find our family room. This is a space that we spend the majority of our time in. It's where we keep the television, we hang out here when we want to play board games, and it's just generally the most cozy spot in the house. Lots of tufted seating. We have a recliner that we picked up from our favorite antique store, Galaxy Modern in Lynchburg. And it also has the only fireplace in the house. Please ignore the plant that has fallen over. I think one of the cats must have knocked it down behind my back, but that's pretty typical. You're probably sensing a theme, but we also have another record player down here that we use for listening to music in the evenings and the afternoon. You'll also find a lot of our favorite antique scores here as well, things like art and lamps. We tend to go to the antique store just about every weekend, so we are always bringing home new pieces to add to our console tables and bookshelves, so it's sort of a fun way to make the most of those travels. Oh, and yes, the dog's crate is down here as well. On the other side of the room, we have our television, which we use just about every night to watch Netflix, movies, things like that. One of our favorites right now is Friday Night Lights. I know it's kind of hard to believe because this piece looks authentically mid-century, but this actually came from Home Depot. As you move down the hallway, you will come into a room that I pretty much never talk about on the blog, our unfinished basement. This side of the house is where we keep all of our main storage for things like holidays, our DIY supplies, also things like camping gear and extra DVDs. It's pretty much just a catch-all, and it looks it. It is not pretty, so I never show it, but I figured I would be as authentic as I can be and give you a tour of this half of the house since it's pretty large.
So that's our house. I hope you enjoy the tour and getting to meet our pets too. If you have any questions about resources or paint colors, just leave them down below and I will do my best to get everything answered. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and in the meantime, I'll see you in my next video.